But no, most of them don't think about what the laws are, and they don't, frankly, they don't care either.
It costs less money than a limousine and fits twice as many people. You might not plan on riding one, but you are sharing the road with them. So tonight, we're asking some tough questions about those big, colorful buses. Welcome back. We are heading into wedding season, and that means many Central Iowa bachelors and bachelorettes will pay hundreds of dollars to rent party buses this season.
But how do you know if the person driving it is properly licensed? And what would happen if the driver got into an accident?
Our Dan Winters found those answers. It's a Channel 13 News investigation.
Loud music, friends, and alcohol have always attracted a certain segment of the population. Put them on a 12-ton rolling dance floor, and you start to see why it's fun to be young.
It's my birthday! Can I just say thank you all for being here on my birthday?
Polly Carlson lets us tag along on her party bus excursion to a local bar. It's Saturday night, and Polly has done this sort of thing before.
If you're going to go out and party and you want to be with your group of friends, it's definitely the best way to go.
On these buses, a hand rope replaces seat belts. Polly's friend Kelly Cornish says they've had at least one rough experience.
Because he'd slam on the brakes or step on the gas really fast, and we just fly forward.
You think, I wonder if it's certified with the state or has insurance. Does that go through your mind?
No.
Not usually, I guess.
This group is in good hands tonight. PR Partylines complies with all the national laws that govern party buses. That includes having $5 million worth of liability insurance. Despite the initial startup cost, Peter Cooper's business is growing.
It really started with doing my brother and myself's bachelor party. We started off with one bus, and now we're at 12.
But we uncovered a problem with party buses. Captain Dean House is one of 14 Iowa DOT officers who inspect them. He says there's a misconception out there that people can gas up an old bus and start charging for rides.
If something, happens and people get hurt on it, how much insurance would it take to cover that amount of people? You really wouldn't know.
In order to be registered, the buses have to pass mechanical inspection. Their numbers have to be prominently displayed. Drivers have to be properly licensed, from chauffeur up to commercial.
I can't compete with somebody that's got a bus that's working out of their backyard that's not paying insurance. There's no way I can compete with that.
So we wonder how many there could be in a state that's famous for its RAGBRAI buses.
So that's where it's hard to pinpoint exactly the numbers that they are out there.
But they are out there. We leave Polly's party around 11 p.m. to search for a bus that isn't legit. It didn't take long to spot one in Clive. Something about this just doesn't look right.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how you doing?
I'm Dan, I'm from Channel 13 News.
Yeah.
Did you know this bus is supposed to have the number displayed on the outside of it, the DOT registration number? No?
The driver tells me he doesn't have a special license. He says he doesn't need it because this bus is considered an RV, and eventually his customers climb aboard.
Is this your bus?
Yes.
Oh, you own it?
No. I'm renting it.
Do you know if this is registered through the Department of Transportation?
No idea, but you are cool.
The truth is, it's not, and it's not considered an RV.
By now, you're probably wondering, if the DOT knows the illegal ones are out there, why isn't it doing more to keep them off the street? The answer is that even though they're illegal, they're still keeping a lot of these cars off the street.
Usually if you're drinking, someone's going to end up driving, and that's stupid. So the party bus keeps you safe and keeps you all together, and you can just enjoy your night out without having to worry about anything.
Captain House does track down the bad buses where they advertise.
With ads in the yellow pages and newspapers and magazines.
And the internet. For example, try Googling party buses Des Moines, Iowa.
A little over 75,000 hits.
He says registered haulers are required to list that DOT number on their advertising materials. PR does. We found many others do too. You can also ask to see their papers. The driver should have no problem handing them over.
We're not out there to try to stop it. What we're trying to do is just make it as safe for the public as we can.
It's one of those things where if you want to know what the law is, you can find out. It's not hard to do.
So check for the numbers and have them back it up with the papers. It's the least you can do, considering how many people get on the bus each and every weekend.
1 million.
And if you haven't, you should be on
Everyone.
one. It's the most fun.
Captain House says that based on our investigation, he does plan to follow up on that bus that we found that's not registered. Aaron, the state of Iowa issues a fine of $380 for hauling passengers for hire without the proper registration.
So Dan, legally, what is the difference between a party bus and a limousine?
It's a good question. It has to do with the number of passengers, 15 or more, including the driver, and that company needs to have the $5 million worth of liability insurance. Most limousines don't carry that many people.
Speaking of liability, what if I'm the person who hires the bus and it crashes? Am I responsible?
That's actually what Captain House calls a gray area, and it's something that could ultimately be settled in civil court if one of those passengers would decide to sue.
Okay, Dan, finally, what happens if somebody like Captain House pulls over one of those buses, it's full of people, and it's not in compliance?
Well, the DOT would most likely escort it to its destination. They don't want to punish the passengers here, Aaron, and again, they really feel like it's at least keeping drunk drivers off the road, and that's pretty important to the DOT.
Yep, probably very true. All right, interesting story. Thanks, Dan.